Hello, everybody. It's me, Mr. C, and today is our show. Okay, our Wednesday version of the show. And our show, National Master Steve Colding, and I'm the CEO and head of chessforchildren.com. So if you're here to learn anything about chess, we're available. So if you want to chat or you want to do anything, just say hello. Come in, say hello. I got so lonely. Just come in and say hello, and we'll be glad to see you. Okay, let's see now. Well, since we've got a full show for you today, we're going to do our 1 hour show. And we're doing the new format, and people tend to like the new format. They say that it's better than me just sitting there playing 20 people at once and so on and so forth. Even though that was sort of fun, it was a little exhausting for me. And from doing that, I didn't get one subscriber, not one. So we're going to keep doing this lesson, and we're going to keep doing this, and we're going to see if we get our first subscriber from here. If we get our first subscriber, maybe we'll continue doing lessons. If not, maybe we'll try something else, okay? But it's all me. I'm just going to sit here and have a little fun and do what I do best, which is teach chess. Okay, so we're going to have our little lesson today on the 7 elements of the game of chess. I'm going to show a little video. And as for now, we have some chess news. And so let's go straight to the chess news. Hi, viewer. How you doing? We're going to give a little chess news here. And the chess news today is, well, let's go back here. Okay, the chess news for today is that tournaments are starting up again. In-person tournaments, not online tournaments. And I, for one, am looking forward to it. But however, I do recommend that before you go to a tournament or before you go to an in-person tournament, you stay safe. Okay, I've had my shots, so you should get your shot, your vaccination, and you should still maintain the safe distance, wear your mask, and all that kind of stuff. So please, if you go to one of these tournaments, please be safe. You follow common sense, and please get vaccinated. Be safe not only for yourself, but for everybody else. Have a little consideration. Okay, the tournaments which have announced that they are going to start are the Chicago Open in May, the Cleveland Open, the Pittsburgh Open, the U.S. Open, the Las Vegas Chess Festival. That's a good one. I like the Las Vegas Chess Festival. The second Cherry Blossom. I'm not familiar with that one, so I've got to check that out if they're doing safe and following guidelines. And let's see, and the World Open tentatively. So new chess. Hey chat, hey viewers, how you doing? Hey, why don't you chat, say hello, join, do whatever. Nice to see you guys here. Thank you for coming. Okay, so again, the big news of the day is that the Chicago Open, the Cleveland Open, the Pittsburgh Open, the U.S. Open, the Las Vegas Chess Festival, the second Cherry Blossom Tournament, and the World Open are all tentatively going to have in-person tournaments. So I know a lot of you have been looking forward to that and biting at the bit. But hey, it gave us a chance to study. So now we're going to go into our lesson. And, well, I might as well let the lesson speak for itself. Okay, here we are in the lesson, and let's start. Hi, everybody, it's me, Mr. C, and today's subject will be position in chess.
As the children kiss, so much fun, you split a rib. Summer, winter, fall, we'll checkmate them all with a Chess for Children game.
Chess for Children. We make children smarter.
Please welcome author, lecturer, chess coach, and CEO of Chess for Children, National Master Steve Colding.
Hi, my name is Steve Colding from Chess for Children. Welcome to another video. If this is your first time here and you want to learn more about chess, chess openings, chess tactics, and all chess-related stuff, start now by subscribing and clicking the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Hey everybody, how you doing? And today we're going to continue our lesson on the 7 elements in the game of chess. Everything is made up of something, and chess itself is made up of something. Chess is made up of time, space, force, position, harmony, and dynamics. And guess what we're going to talk about? We also talked about, and let me just show you what the 7 elements are for now. Let's see. Okay, the 7 elements in the game of chess are space, which we talked about, time, which we talked about, force, which we talked about. We didn't talk about harmony. Now we're going to skip harmony for now and go straight to position, dynamics, and psychology. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. That's 7 elements. Let's get that out the way. Okay, now the element we're going to talk about is position, right? Now, a lot of you have heard about, I know if you've been in chess, you've heard about positional positions or strategic positions and tactical positions. Strategical positions and tactical positions. Well, those are the basic 2 types of chess games. And how do you tell whether a position is a strategical position or a tactical one? Well, how you tell is by the contacts, how much contact is between the pieces. If there's a lot of contact between the pieces, if there's pieces flying all over the board, then you probably have a tactical situation. If there's very little things going on, then that is a strategical position or a positional position. And today's subject is positional chess. Now, there are very, very many ways of exploiting positional advantages, but positional advantages basically deal with this: pawn structure, how your pawns are, and where your king is. 2 very important things that lead the way into telling us how we should play a position. And so to use our theme game today, the theme game today is a game in which was played in 1956. It is Isaac Boleslavsky against Georgy Lisitsyn. I'm sorry, I'm butchering his name, but I've never heard it pronounced, so I know the game. And it's the USSR Championships, the Russian Championships in 1956. Okay, and it's a Sicilian defense and the Dragon. Okay, and we're going to look at how Boleslavsky plays a positional masterpiece by dominating the square d5. He's going to dominate the square d5. Okay, so let's look at, there are very many ways to dominate in a positional position, in a strategic position, but here we are going to look at the weapon of dominating a central square. Some say that a good player needs a piece to win. An expert needs a pawn. A master needs a square. And the grandmaster just throws the piece up in the air, and wherever it lands, it's the right spot. Okay? In any case, we're going to look at how to exploit a central square. Okay, unopposed central square. And this is the game we chose. And we'll look at another one next week. Anyway, let's just go into the game. Okay, so this is, like I said, hold on, let me show a couple of things. Let's see, right here. 1 second, let me show. Cancel. This is what it is. Okay, and let me, okay. Now here on the left is Boleslavsky, and on the right is Lissitzin. Okay, and these are just a couple of pictures to see how they looked at approximately the time. They both died in the 70s. Boleslavsky was one of the top players at the time, and Lissitzin was a strong Russian master who played in several USSR championships. So now we're going to look at the game. Okay, and here we go. Let's see. Okay. Hold on. Let's go. Did we lose the game? Okay, there we are. Okay. Now, we are here I am using my own platform, the Chess for Children platform, rather than LI Chess or anything else. So you can play games and everything on my platform on Chess for Children if you become a member. Okay, you can only play if you become a member, and you can only do the puzzles and stuff. But we have lots of videos that you can watch for totally free. Anyway, to the game. Okay, the game is a Sicilian defense. Okay, and it's pretty standard. And now G6 marks the dragon variation. Next move, bishop e3, and Boleslavsky reinforces his d4 knight. Okay, f3 to stop knight g4. Okay, queen d2. Knight c6, castle. And a lot of times they play the bishop out to c4, but that is a very, very tactical way of playing, and if you're not really sure 100%, it's probably better just to bring this up. Although knight to c6 now, right here, black plays knight takes d4. Now d5 is a common move here, and it's considered the best move at the time. So d5 is the move that black should play, but black played this move. And remember, this is in 1956, so this opening was relatively new then. Okay, bishop takes, queen a5. Okay, king b1. Whenever we castle queenside, a good idea is to play the king to b1, so that with bishop to e6, so with the king on b1, this queenside castle position is just as sturdy now as a kingside castle position, because the weakness on here was that this pawn on a2 could be a little loose, but now white protects that a pawn. Okay, and now black makes a mistake, e5. This is way too optimistic, and he creates a backward pawn. Now, the King's Indian and openings like that were just coming into vogue, and so people tended to think that a backward d6 pawn wasn't that tough. However, in this situation, it's not a good situation, because he blocks in his bishop, and it'll be hard for him to gain active play. Now, bishop e3. To protect it, and now we're threatening queen takes. Yet in this move he plays bishop e6, and this was probably where he thought and he decided. Now the question is, can white take the d pawn? Can white take this pawn over here on d6? Does anybody know? Anybody know if white can take this d6 pawn? It's white's move. Should he take the d6 pawn or should he not take the d6 pawn? Da 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 da. Nobody's gonna say anything. Nobody's gonna say hello. Nobody's gonna. Okay, well, he actually can't. Right now, taking that pawn would be very dangerous. Okay, and would probably lead to a much worse game. And the reason is, and let me show you, if queen takes pawn, which is not the correct move, rook would come over. Queen would say move anywhere, it doesn't matter. And now bishop can take, check, because the knight cannot protect both the a2 pawn and the rook at d1. So bishop can take, or, I'm not sure which is, I haven't analyzed it yet, but rook can take also, if knight takes, and then queen takes this pawn. This looks very dangerous too. And in this situation, this would not be good. White would have lost his advantage and is being attacked by black. Okay, a typical dragon attack. Okay, so this was the reason why Licitsin decided to play e5. However, there's more going on, and because of this, not being able to take this pawn, a3 is played. Now, I'm not even sure he can still take the pawn now, but a3 sort of says, hey, what's going on? And now black decides to protect it. Okay, and here we go with the rest of the moves. And now knight to b5. Very strong move. Don't know if it's winning yet, but it is attacking two pawns. It's also attacking the queen. The queen has been uncovered on it. So what is he going to do? The knight queen, of course, can't take the knight because the bishop is protecting. Okay, and this knight is protecting. So he doesn't want to exchange off pieces. But this is a very deep idea, a very deep idea. And he took that into consideration. If queen takes queen and rook takes queen, this pawn is attacked, the a7 pawn is attacked and can be taken both ways. Knight to c7 is a possibility. Not sure which would be the best, but it's definitely white for choice here, which means white has a better choice and his game is probably easier to play than black's. Okay, so black said black didn't like the way that looked, so he played queen to a4. And now white wants to take over the d5 square. But hey, there are two pieces guarding it. The knight is guarding it, and the bishop is guarding it. By the way, I want to go back here. Okay, knight to d5 would be a mistake, because now on knight to d5, black would simply take with the knight or the bishop, probably with the bishop, with the knight. Pawn takes bishop here. And now the square d5 is now, oh, I'm sorry, look at this. Look at how silly I am. Okay, if knight goes to d5, queen would take queen first, right? And when rook takes queen, or he could take check, either way, it wouldn't make much of a difference. And now knight takes, pawn takes, bishop takes, or bishop back, doesn't really matter. Or he could play it the other way too, either way. But the point is that the pawn would now be occupying d5 rather than the piece. Okay, so we need that piece to occupy d5. But how to get rid of the bishop and knight? What do we do here? How to get rid of the bishop and knight? Well, what we do is play c4. And now that we're saying, hey, there's a clamp now down on the c4 square. Okay, on the d5 square. You'll never get d5 in if you don't take this. If you don't take this pawn, d5 can never be played. So white takes it, black takes it, and white brings his bishop back, his knight back, just to harass the queen. Who knows? Maybe the queen might leave this bishop hanging. But Lecythyn is too strong for that. He protects the bishop and has some minor threats later on, maybe once the knight moves. d5 is probably a threat, so bishop takes, and bishop takes. Well, now we've accomplished the first thing. The first objective is getting rid of the bishop covering d5. Now, what's covering d5 now? There's only one piece that's covering d5. What's covering d5 now? What's covering d5 now? Okay, I'm trying to get back. Bishop g5. Very good, Hundy. MLG Hundy. Bishop to g5 is the move. Is the move. Very good. Congratulations. That's it, exactly the move. We removed the knight at f6. And we play bishop g5. A lot of my students say it's pinning, it's pinning. Yeah, it's doing that. But that's not the important thing. The important thing is that now we're getting ready to occupy d5. And we're going to see how controlling a strong central square is enough to win the game. Queen e6. Well, bishop takes. We don't even hesitate. Queen takes. Knight d5. And now, let's see. What does he do? Queen h4. Queen h4. Now, let's talk about, we've got that beautiful knight at d5. So what? So we got the knight at d5. What does it mean? What can we do? Tell me how we can attack. How can we attack right now? How do we continue the attack? Does anybody know? Does anybody know how we continue the attack here? Well, rook c1 is the wrong idea. Okay, rook c1 is the wrong idea. While not a bad move, probably, it's not the most efficient move. Look, we need to attack, right? But the kings are castled on the opposite side of the board, right? And so when we castled on the opposite side of the board, how should we attack? When you and your opponent are castled on opposite sides of the board. Now remember, position is how your pawns are set up and where your king is. The kings are on opposite sides of the board. How do we attack? When kings are on opposite sides of the board, we attack with pawns. We attack with pawns. Right. Right, MLG Hund. That's right. We attack with pawns. We want to play g3 and push the pawns. And why do we want to push the pawns? We want to push the pawns to open lines around the king so that all our pieces will be more effective. Do you understand? So the object is not just to push pawns for pawns' sakes. The object is to push pawns so that they open lines around the king so that our pieces can then be more effective. So, with all that in mind, what move does white make now? Hun said g3. Is that you sticking with g3? Well, the idea is to play g3, but the problem with g3 right now is that the problem with g3 right now, if you play g3 right now, the queen would go to h3 and blockade these pawns. Stop these pawns from moving. Stop these pawns from moving. And you would have to use your queen or extraordinary means to get that queen out of there. So white's move becomes obvious. White's move is, after queen h4, queen e2, with the idea to play queen f1 to stop the queen from going here. Before we decide how to attack, we have to first look at what our opponent can do to hinder our attack. We have to look at what our opponent can do to hinder our attack. And so before we attack is partly looking at the opponent's moves, what the opponent has resources. So black was hoping for g6, so that g3, I mean, so that black could blockade the pawns with queen to h3. Well, black wants to get his other rook here, but he has to watch out for the knight going to e7 if the queen moves. So he plays his bishop to f8. So now the rook can come over here. And white again makes a preparatory move. Does anybody understand what move white makes? What move white does right here? White plays the move queen to f1. And in playing the move queen to f1, he now has a chance to push the pawns. Black takes this opportunity to occupy an open file, and now white begins with the pawn pushes. g3, and now queen g5. Okay, what move do you think white plays at this point? Now, if you notice, look at the board. This is what I'm talking about, contact points. There's not a lot of stuff going on. There's not a lot of fighting or conflict between the pieces. There are hardly any points of contact between white's pieces and black's pieces. And thus we know from that lack of contact that this is a strategical position. What move does white make here? What move does he make? The move that white does right now is a move which goes according to his plan. See, and a lot of times the plans suggest themselves. And even though it may look like a mistake, we should look it over carefully because there might be a reason we can play the move. And the move he plays is h4. h4 is the move he plays. Now, right here, the question is, what happens if he plays queen takes g3? What happens if black plays queen takes g3? Because in playing h4, we have left the pawn on pre. And we also, remember, we also have given up a pawn to get this position in the first place. So that would be 2 pawns. That's a substantial investment. So why can't the queen take the pawn at g3? What will happen? Well, if the queen takes the pawn at h3, if the queen takes the pawn at g3, I'm sorry, not h3, you have to notice that how many squares does the queen have? It only has the one he's on. And that means rook to h3 would win the queen for a rook, which is way too much. So queen can't go to g3. So h4, queen goes to h6, and now, of course, we continue with the pawn storm, g4. Now, white is threatening to play g5 and then knight f6 and h5 and do all that. And black is looking at that right now. Black's a strong player. Black is one of the strongest masters in Russia at the time. So he knows what white has in mind. So he's trying to stop it, and right here he gets a little desperate. Although it would be hard to suggest anything more for him. And it shows us that the mistake was in playing the move e5. He should have never played e5. Okay, but the move he plays reeks of desperation. And the move is g5. g5. Now, one of my students, now what do we do here? Do we play h5 with the idea of playing knight e3 to f5? Or do we play g takes h5? Or do we try to triple up? What should we do? What should we do? You know what we're going to do? We're going to open up the position. You have to open it up. That's why we were pushing the pawns in the first place. So we're going to take this pawn. And queen takes. And now, rook h5. Well, the queen has to move. And now, white adds and increases and fixes black's pawns with g5. Beautiful move. Queen can't take rook. Queen can't take rook because of knight to f6. If queen takes rook, knight goes to f6, check, fork, winning the queen. Again, too much. So he cannot do that. So the move that black does is play h6. Okay, and h6, because knight f6 and rook takes h7 was threatened. And what happens? Well, white plays rook takes h6, because if bishop takes, knight to e7 check, forks the queen and the king from a different angle. You see how dominant this knight is? How it just adds and just from the mere presence of it being there. And so queen takes. Again, if queen moves back, knight goes to f6, and then queen has to give itself up. And now rook goes back to h5, and again, queen can't take because the knight f6 check. And when queen goes here, okay, black resigned. Because the position is open. Look at the position. It's totally open. There's no pawns protecting the queen. And that means all the pieces can come in the game. And with rook, queen h1, rook to g7, rook to g1 wins the game quite easily. Okay, quite easily. A beautiful positional masterpiece. And it shows that you don't have to have spectacular tactics all over the board. It doesn't have to be fiery all over the board. You can use just a simple plan. And look what the plan was. The plan was to dominate a central square. And then, since you were opposite side castles, to open lines with the queen. I mean, by giving up your pawns, by pushing your pawns forward. And the knight played a central role in the fact that it was threatening forks that really never happened. And when the pawns were eliminated from around the king, the game was over. Okay? So I hope this technique, you learned a little bit about this technique. Okay, and what we're going to do now is we're going to show you a little game This game has nothing to do, but it's a game I played. I like this game in the Scotch opening. And so we're going to show you this little video from my website, chessforchildren.com. Remember, chessforchildren.com. Chess for Children. We make children smarter. So we're going to go here. We're going to show you the video. And remember, I'm Mr. C, Steve Colding, National Master Steve Colding. And if you want any lessons by me or want to see some of my lessons online, feel free, call me, contact me. My website's Chess for Children. Okay, and now we're going to show the video.
Chess for Children. We make children smarter.
Hello, Chess for Children kids. This is National Master Steve Colding, and today we will be talking about how to crush the Scotch kid. Kids, I'm about to show you one of my crushes in the Scotch opening. I like this game very much, and it's a very deep game. And it took me and my opponent a lot of time. We had basically just a couple of minutes by the end of the game. And in fact, in the first 10 moves, we both used together about 2 hours and 30 minutes. So we were really, really intense in this game. And it's not a long game, but it's a very intense one. And it shows a new variation, B6, in the Scotch. Well, it was new at the time. And this game is against Alex Beyond, who's a 2400 now. He's one of the top juniors in the United States. And he's a FIDE master. But at the time, he was 2218. And this game happened in 2016. And so at the Chicago Open in the 7th round. And it was a key game because if either him or I wanted to finish in the top, we had to win the game. So it was all out. Anyway, let me show you the game, and we will definitely. Oh, I'm on Lee Chess. I'm using their site, and I'm pasting in the game now. And I imported I'm going to go to the beginning. Okay, and we'll talk as we go along. Okay, now this was the Scotch game. So the opening is D4. Now the Scotch is very interesting because what White's doing is he's breaking in the center already, and this gives him space, which means he won't have to move any pawns. Now at this time, more pawns, whereas Black has to offset his space advantage with time. So he has to develop his pieces as quickly and efficiently as he can. And you can do the counting, but every time you move a pawn, you don't bring out a piece. So right now, it's very important that I take this, he moved the piece twice, and now I bring out another piece. So again, his bishops have complete reign, his pieces are totally free, but I have 2 pieces out, and that's what has to offset. So he played this variation, which protects. You can also play the knight back, attacking the bishop, and there's many ways to play. Right now, he's threatening knight takes c6, which will uncover on the bishop. So queen f6 attacks it again and brings out another piece. Okay, so c3, another pawn moves, so he doesn't have out enough pieces. He doesn't have out as many pieces as I do. Knight here, I bring out another piece. Now, right here at this point, he plays bishop to c4, which is considered the book move. And so I have prepared b6, which I have actually got from one of the super grandmasters. His name is Giri, Giri, and he's a pretty tough guy. You know, he's one of the top 10 in the world. So I mean, you can't do any worse. By now, my opponent castled, I believe he castled, and this I'm not sure is the best move. I think he could have played f4, but f4 is very committal now. If you're not 100% sure about the moves, you're going to try and make moves that are non-committal. At least that's what masters do. And so bishop b7. And now remember, this is move 8, and we've probably used 45 minutes each on these moves so far. Okay, f3, again, a move I'm not particularly fond of. I think he could play b4, or he could play, b4, or again, f4. F3 seems a little wishy-washy, but he still has, according to the computer, a slight advantage. So I castle. Okay, and now queen to d2. This definitely was the wrong idea. He should play b4. He should play b4. b4 was a much better move. Okay, I won't go into the variations because I'm doing this game and I want to get now here. What move do you think I did? What move? Now look, I have out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. He has out 1, 2, 3, 4. So why do you rush to the middle game? Why are you trying to get your pieces out? You want to develop so that you can break in the center before. Now, he broke on me, so I have to break on him and try to get my pieces as free as possible. And the allowing of this break, I think, was a mistake. He should have tried to do other things like maybe knight b3, or if f4, knight b3, b4. b4 considered better than queen d2. He could have did b4, and then I'd have to take the knight and then play d5. But it's a completely different game. But he had something in mind. What he had in mind was pawn takes, knight takes, and bishop to g5. Okay, now I saw this move and I spent a lot of time on it, and I had already had something prepared, and the move I had prepared was knight takes. Now if he takes, my queen's just going to take, say, check, and we exchange off queens, and I play f6, and I'm a pawn up. Okay, it's nice and easy. But he had something else in mind, something which I didn't see. He played king h1. King h1 was, I thought, was a pretty good move. At least it surprised me. Okay, now right here, the computer says queen e5 is good, and probably is. It likes my position a lot. But I said, well, I'm going to lose this knight anyway. I might as well take something. And that type of combination, when you know you're going to lose the piece and you take something before, is called a desperado. So I desperadoed him right now, and now he played rook takes. And again, the computer likes queen e5 here, but I had a little surprise for my opponent. Now, if you want to take a few seconds and try to decide what move I did. Well, okay, you took this a few seconds. I hope you stopped the video and took a few seconds, because I'm about to say it. Okay, so if you want to take a second more. And the move I played was queen f3. Whoa. Okay, now I had that plan, believe it or not, when he played queen d2. I had some inkling of playing queen f3, but it was just a pipe dream. Okay, so the move he played, well, he's got to take this. He's got to take that. And now the move I followed up with was knight e3. Now, it's all sorts of complications here. But the point is, if he moves the queen, right? If he moves the queen, say, to f2, my rook goes to d8. If he takes, right? If he takes the rook, I have the check here with the bishop. Okay, and now I have the check here. Next move, when he moves the king over. And then I have a whole bunch of other things. So I'm getting this queen back. But the move I didn't see again was him playing bishop b2. And the computer says at this point that was his best move, which is amazing that he found that, the absolute best move. Okay, I have no choice. I played rook takes, knight takes. And now I'm looking at the position. And believe it or not, I am a pawn up. I've got a great position, but I'm disgusted. And the reason why I'm disgusted is because after that beautiful sacrifice, it only led to 1 pawn. Okay, so now I have to readjust myself, get everything ready, and play a move that's decent and make sure I don't lose the advantage. And the move I came up with was rook here. Okay, I played rook here. Now we're very short of time. Okay, so that explains his next blunder. This next move is just a blunder. I guess he had other moves. I'm not really going into what they were, but this move actually helps me win the game now. Once he did this, he missed this double attack. He missed the next. He played knight b3, and he missed my double attack of knight c2, attacking the bishop and the rook at the same time. Okay, so he played rook d1. Now, if I take the bishop, he mates me. So, luckily, I had saw that way in advance, and I blocked the bishop's way. So now there's no mate, and now I'm attacking 2 pieces at once. Okay, he took my bishop, I took back. There might be possibly a better move than that, but he did this. I checked. King over, I took the rook, I let him take mine. Whoops, that wasn't the move. Okay, I let him take my rook. I took his bishop. Now I'm a piece up. And really the game is, as they say, just a matter of technique. I don't care. Also 2 pawns up on the other side. So at this point, he resigned. Okay, this is interesting game. We didn't play the best, but I sort of like it. I like especially my queen sacrifice. So you tell me what you think. Did I play well? Was I terrible? Whatever. Just leave a comment or a little note. And this is Steve Colvin showing you how to crush the Scotch. Well, that was one of my favorite games against Alex Beyond. I got him that game. He'll probably get me the next time we play each other. Or maybe he got me before that. I'm not really sure. Anyway, it's me, Steve Colding, and Mr. C, my students call me. And I'm CEO of Chess for Children. Chess for Children, we make children smarter. If you want to learn any more lessons, well, hey, visit my website. We have free lessons on there all the time. If you want to take lessons from me, hey, give me a call, give me an email, send me something. If you like this video, like us, do everything that you're supposed to do over there. And now I'm ready to accept challenges from anybody. I'm going to play 5 minutes. If you want to challenge me, I'll be on chessforchildren.com. Let me go here. And let me go to the big board. Where's the big board? There's the big board. And what I need to do is I need to go back to here, LI Chess. Let me go to LI Chess.
I can hurt you
and,
like you hurt me too.
Let's see, I have no one challenging me. LI Chess. And let's see if we have... there we are. We've got everything in here. And let me play the game. I'm going to challenge somebody. We're going to play 5 minutes and we'll see who I end up playing. Okay, let's see if this is... nope, can't see everything. I've got to make it smaller. Okay, window capture. Okay, let me make this smaller. Okay, and I got Okay, now can I play? Can I play? Nope, I've got to ask for a new opponent. Let's try again, and now I'm getting ready to play a game. Sorry, guy, I didn't mean to. Okay, E4, E5. I'm playing at 2295. He's just a little, his rating's just a little lower than mine, so this should be a fair game. He and the Roy Lopez. I'm playing the Morphe, and now the Neo Steinmetz, which I find a little more dynamic. And, you know, the Berlin and all that kind of newfangled stuff. I guess it's okay, but I'm gonna tell you truthfully, I'm not. It doesn't move. Okay, let's see what's happening. Oh, so I could take that? I don't know. Should I take this? Let me play here first. Play here. I'm attacking the bishop. Yes, and now here. And now I follow up. You know, I saw this game that was played. Did I play bishop g7? I'm going to play rook g8. Rook b8. Okay. I saw this game between Leela and Stockfish, and Stockfish actually didn't do a4, so a4 might be a little better. I'm not sure. I sort of like this formation. Stockfish played d5 instead of a4. So will that make a difference? I don't know. We're gonna see. We're gonna see if it makes a big difference. Okay. We're gonna see if it makes a big difference. Interesting position. He can't really invade along the A file yet. And let's see. Oh, he's thinking about this position. I better be careful. But I'm basically just gonna play bishop g7. If he might want to play pawn takes, and then I'm gonna play knight takes. And the reason why I play knight takes is in these type of positions you usually exchange off the queen knight. And now he plays knight e7, knight d5, and my knight is going to go back. Now, will this make a difference, having this file open? I'm not sure. I could chase him out the way here, but let me just continue with my development. I'm not really worried about the rook being there because, like I said, I could chase him back anytime I want to. And the save point. Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna castle. I'm not worried about this. I'm not worried about this. Let's see, bishop there. Well, I really want that bishop to go, so I have to hit him. Okay, and now I'm gonna play my knight here. This has to be worth a little trouble. See, he let me play h6 and now f5. This is what Leela did, f4. Okay, now here he wants to play here. Do I chase his knight and then bring the knight out here? Do I play there, c5? Okay. I could play the knight back. I could play the rook to f7. Let me play this knight back. I'm playing the knight back because now I can play g5, which is really what I want to do right now. Okay, pawn takes. And right here, I think I'm gonna just retreat the knight. Queen here, attacking this and that. I'm gonna retreat the knight. I'm gonna retreat the knight because I'm gonna play g4. Okay, now I'm gonna play g4. That was always in the cards. Now I'm gonna bring my queen to h4 and threaten g3. Yeah, should I bring my queen to h4? Should I play my queen to h4? I could also play queen to h4, bishop there. Well, okay, so I think I have to play queen to h4 now. Right? Queen to h4. I don't have to do that now. I can play my bishop to f6. He wants to do g3. And I could play knight to e7. Let me play knight to e7. This, all of this is not, it's protected twice. I'm going to play my knight to g6 now. Knight to g6. Okay, now he has there. And now do I do f3? I think f3 is a good idea. I think now f3 is a good idea. Because I'm going to play my knight to f4. That's a beautiful square for my knight. Okay, and now my knight goes to f4. Okay. And I'm attacking the queen at the same time. Okay, and now if I play queen to h4, let me play queen to h4. Okay, and now I'm gonna play here, queen here. Okay, and now let's see. What can I do here? I don't know. What can I do here? Bishop there. Let me play. I'm gonna play my bishop here. Time to get my bishop in the game. Now bishop. Okay, now I'm getting my bishop in the game. I've got everything in the game. Bishop, rook. Maybe I could have moved my queen out of the way. I'm threatening. Am I threatening queen takes? I could play queen takes. I could play queen takes. I sort of like the way all my pieces are working here. Okay, I have to move my queen out the way. So I'll just move it out the way. Okay, king there. Now I can take this pawn, right? Can I take this pawn first? I can take this pawn, right? Okay. But that's a bishop. That's a bishop. Well, it was a bishop. It's okay to trade off sometimes. Oh, a drawer. Not a drawer because he had a bishop. I was moving too slowly. Okay, well, that's what it is. The old man just moves too slow. Okay, so the old man moves too slow. Let that be a lesson to you. Don't get old. Anyway, it's me, Mr. C, and time's up. So it's time for me to go. So I shall see you all next time on Friday. And until then, happy chess hunting.
Children, kids, so much fun, you'll split a rib. Summer, winter, fall, we'll checkmate them all with a Chess for Children game.